The back door of a stucco bungalow in Dayton, Ohio, opens at 5:47 a.m. on a Tuesday in October 1958. A boy, 10 years old, walks across frost-slick grass in a flannel shirt 2 sizes too big. He carries a Zebco 33 in his left hand, a coffee can of red worms in his right. The air smells like chimney smoke and wet maple leaves. He does not tell his mother where he is going. She already knows. By 9:14 a.m., that boy will have baited his own hook, tied an improved clinch knot without thinking, read a submerged log, set the drag correctly, cleaned his catch on a flatboard with a kitchen paring knife, and walked back into that house carrying enough channel catfish to feed 4. He will have done it in silence. No adult taught him. An older boy did. And he will do it again next Saturday, and the Saturday after that, until the hands remember it the way hands remember piano keys.
By 12, he will know 30 more things like it. Concrete, physical, useless in a classroom, indispensable in a life. These are 31 things every boy in 1958 knew, and your son does not. And the gap between those 2 boys is not cute, and it is not harmless, and it is getting wider. Subscribe if you want it to close, and stay until item number 1, because the last skill on this list is the one we lost first. Item 31. Baiting a hook without looking seen. A gravel bar off the Licking River in Kentucky, June 1956. A boy, age 9, sits on a 5-gallon bucket his grandfather set out the night before. It is 6:20 a.m., fog still lifting off the slow water. He opens a Maxwell House coffee can. Inside, red wigglers are tangled in damp loam. He pulls one. It stretches. He lays it across his left palm. With his right thumb, he pins it against a number 6 eagle claw. He does not look at his hands. He is watching a turtle slide off a log 20 yards out. Mechanics. The worm goes on tip first. The point enters just behind the head collar. He slides it up the shank with his thumbnail, then punches the barb through the worm's body a 1/4 inch from the tail. The live end of the worm curls in the water. He tears a second worm in half, threads both pieces on for scent. He learned this at 7. The reason it matters? When the bobber twitches at 6:32, his eyes never leave the water. His hands work below the frame. Modern contrast. Your son watched a YouTube tutorial on baiting a hook in 2023 while eating goldfish crackers. He has not held a worm. He has been fishing twice, both times on a charter boat out of Destin, where the mate did all of this. He stood on deck holding a rod that was already rigged, and when the mate handed him a fighting belt, he said, "Wait, do I strap this on first?" He caught nothing. His father filmed it for Instagram. The reel is now in a closet with a tangle of line he will never fix. The nail. The boy on the bucket was not talented. He was trained by repetition until the hands forgot they had a choice. Item 30. Reading cloud shape for tomorrow's weather scene. A wheat field outside Colby, Kansas, August 1961. A boy, 11, walks a fence line with his father, replacing a broken staple. The sky to the west is stacked. He stops. His father, who has not looked up, says, "Cumulonimbus, will be off the header in 20 minutes. The boy nods. He can see the anvil top. He can feel the humidity drop on the back of his neck. Mechanics. Cirrus means weather in 3 days. Mackerel sky means rain within 12. A low, fast-moving wall cloud means rotation. Red sky at morning is a warning. He knows these not from a textbook, from watching his father glance up 3 times during every meal outside, from being told, "You see that green tint under that one? That's hail." He learned that hail means, "Get the truck under the tree line now." Modern contrast. Your son checked the radar on his iPhone this morning from his bedroom in Encino while his coffee brewed itself. He saw a 10% chance of precipitation. He wore flip-flops anyway. At 4 p.m., a freak microburst dropped a 60-year-old elm across the driveway. He is now waiting on a tree service that will charge $4,800, and he has called his wife to ask if she knew which insurance rider covered this. He could not have read the sky. He has never been outside long enough to feel the pressure change on his eardrums. The nail. The radar app is more accurate. The radar app cannot wake a sleeping child in a house with no power. Item 29. Sharpening a knife on a whetstone. Scene: a porch in rural Arkansas, October 1954. A boy, age 10, sits on the bottom step with a carbon steel kitchen knife across his knees, a round Norton combination stone in a wooden box on the concrete beside him. He has a coffee can of used motor oil. He dips the blade, lays it on the coarse side at 20 degrees, and pushes. 20 strokes. He flips it. 20 strokes. The sound is a long hiss. Mechanics. The angle stays the same on both sides. He learned by drawing a pencil line on the bevel and watching the stone erase it evenly. He flips every 10 strokes to keep the edge centered. He finishes on the fine side with edge-leading strokes, then strops on an old leather belt nailed to the porch rail. He can shave hair off his forearm by the time he's 11. He can put a working edge on a hatchet by 12. Modern contrast. Your son owns 3 knives. They are dull. He has never sharpened them. The 8-inch chef's knife from his wedding registry has been in a drawer for 7 years with the factory edge and a faint rust spot. Last Thanksgiving, he tried to carve a turkey and the blade skidded across the drumstick. He went to the ER. The doctor asked what happened. He said, "I don't even know."
His wife bought a cheap electric sharpener last Christmas. It sits unused. He cannot tell you the difference between a 1,000 grit stone and a 6,000 grit stone. And he does not know what microbevel means. And he could not fix this in an hour. The nail. A dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp one. And a man who will not sharpen one has outsourced the most basic act of respect for his own hands. Item 28. Tying 4 knots from memory. Scene: a dock on Lake Erie near Sandusky, Ohio, July 1957. A boy, age 9, is tying the painter of a wooden john boat to a cleat. He does it wrong. His uncle, who is 26, walks over and undoes it without comment. He reties it. A bowline. The uncle watches, nods, and walks away. The boy has just been taught. Mechanics. Bowline for a loop that will not slip or jam. Clinch knot for hook, lure, swivel. Clove hitch for tying a boat to a post or a tarp to a rail.
Square knot for binding 2 ends of rope under tension, but only if both ends are loaded the same way. He learned the hard way at 8 that a square knot on a wounded dog will slip. Trucker's hitch for cinching down a load. By age 11, he can tie all 4 in under 30 seconds each, in the dark, with cold hands, because he practiced. Modern contrast. Your son has a bungee cord collection. He has never tied a knot that was not pre-tied for him. Last summer, he rented a pontoon at Lake of the Ozarks. He could not tie the boat to the dock. The marina attendant did it. He tipped her $5 and felt, somewhere he could not name, embarrassed. He cannot explain why. He has no idea what a bowline is. He has never had to. He has never had to do many things. The nail. A man who cannot tie a knot has outsourced his own binding to the first stranger who shows up with a truck. Item 27. Reading a compass and a topo map. Scene: the Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina, September 1959. A boy, age 12, is on a 2-day hike with his scout troop. He is navigator for the day. He has a Silva Ranger 515 in his left hand and a USGS 7.5-minute quad folded to his sector. He orients the map. He picks a bearing. He walks. Mechanics. He aligns the compass's orienting arrow with north on the map, rotates his body until the magnetic needle settles inside the orienting arrow, and walks the bearing. He can pace a distance. He knows his stride is about 32 inches, so 100 paces is 80 yards. 1,000 paces is half a mile. He can read contour lines. Tightly stacked lines mean a cliff. Wide spacing means gentle slope. A V pointing uphill means a drainage. He can find a saddle, follow a ridge, drop into a hollow. Modern contrast. Your son went hiking last fall at Bear Mountain. He used an app that tracks his GPS. He got lost anyway because his phone died. He waited 90 minutes on a rock for his friend to bring a portable charger. He has never held a paper map. He does not know what a bearing is. He does not know what pace count means. He could not navigate 10 miles of woods to save his dog, and he has a dog. The nail. The compass cannot run out of battery. The compass does not require a subscription. Item 26. Skinning and cleaning a fish he caught. Scene: a concrete boat ramp on Lake Conroe, Texas, October 1955. A boy, age 11, kneels on the wet pavement with a stringer of white bass. He has a paring knife from his mother's kitchen drawer. He is 2 hours from home. He is going to clean them here. Mechanics. He lays the fish flat, scales it by scraping from tail to head with the back of the knife. He cuts behind the pectoral fin down to the spine. He runs the blade along the spine from head to tail, ribs off, flip, repeat on the other side. He pulls the skin off with pliers, gripping the corner he cut. He rinses the fillet in the lake. He does not gut it first. He fillets it from the top down and discards the frame. By the time he's 12, he can do 3 bass in 4 minutes. The fillets go in a paper bag. The paper bag goes on ice in a cooler his mother packed with frozen milk jugs at 4 a.m. Modern contrast. Your son has caught exactly 2 fish in his life, both on a charter boat where the mate did this. He has never held a knife to a fish. He has never smelled fish guts on his hands for 2 hours. He has never had to. He buys his salmon at Whole Foods in a plastic pouch for $14 a pound and tells his wife, "I like to cook." He does not like to cook. He likes to not embarrass himself at the stove. The nail. A man who has never killed and cleaned what he eats has outsourced the most ancient conversation between a human body and the thing that died to feed it. Item 25. Building and tending a fire without matches. Scene: a clearing near Bend, Oregon, August 1962.
A boy, age 11, is on a Boy Scout overnight. He has a ferro rod and a striker his grandfather gave him. The wood is wet from a morning rain. He finds a dead cedar that is still dry inside, snaps dead twigs from a standing pine. He uses his knife to feather sticks, shaving thin curls off a standing piece of dry wood, so the curls stand up to catch the spark. He scrapes the ferro rod with the striker at a steep angle, sending a shower of 3,000-degree sparks into the feather stick. He coaxes it with his breath, short, controlled puffs at first, then longer as the ember catches. He feeds it pine needles, then twigs, then larger sticks. He learned at 9. By 11, he can do it in a steady rain, if he has dry heartwood. Modern contrast. Your son has a propane fire pit on his back patio in Scottsdale. He has used it 4 times. He does not know how to light a fire without a switch. He does not know what a ferro rod is.
He has never felt the satisfaction of an ember he made with his own hands and his own breath. Last winter, the power went out in his neighborhood for 6 hours. He and his wife and 2 kids sat in the cold and waited. They could not boil water. They could not heat the house. They played cards on their phones until the phones died. He has since purchased a generator he does not know how to maintain. The nail. A man who cannot make fire cannot unmake civilization, which means he is fully dependent on the civilization that is unmaking itself. Item 24. Riding a single-speed bicycle with no hands down a hill. Scene. A residential street in suburban Pittsburgh, May 1961. A boy, age 10, on a Schwinn Continental with a black and white seat and chrome fenders. He is bombing down Hampshire Avenue. He takes his hands off the bars. He sticks them straight out. The wind lifts the brim of his cap. Mechanics. Balance is not magic. It is core tension and forward weight over the steering axis. He learned on a gravel driveway at 6, falling, scraping, getting back on. By 10, he can turn his head and look behind him, signal a left turn with his left arm, all while pedaling. He can pick up a bottle off the curb without stopping. He can track stand, hold the bike upright, motionless, by rocking the front wheel forward and back. Modern contrast. Your son rides an e-bike to his office in Brooklyn. He does not know how to track stand. He cannot take his hands off the bars because he is going 22 miles per hour and the geometry is unfamiliar. He wears a helmet with a turn signal in it that his wife insisted on. He has never had a Schwinn. He has never had a bike that did not have gears. He has never ridden a bike with coaster brakes and learned to skid to a stop on purpose. He does not know what coaster brakes are. The nail. A boy on a Schwinn learned to balance his body. A man on an e-bike learned to balance his credit card. Item 23. Pitching a tent alone scene. A campsite at Itasca State Park, Minnesota, June 1958. A boy, age 12, on his first solo overnight. He carries a canvas pup tent, 2 wooden tent stakes, a mallet, a folded canvas tarp. He picks his site on high ground. He unpacks. Mechanics. He lays the tent flat, threads the 2 upright poles through the canvas sleeves, raises the tripod. He squares the corners, drives the stakes at a 45-degree angle through the grommets, tautens the guy lines by pulling the slack through the cleat. He ties a bowline in the door pull. He lays a ground tarp underneath, inside footprint. He has done this from watching his father 3 times. He does not need the 4th. Modern contrast. Your son went glamping in Big Sur last summer. The tent was a geodesic dome already set up. The bed inside had a down comforter. There was a flushing toilet in a wooden box 50 feet away. There was a kitchen tent. There was a waiting staff. He has never set up a tent. He has never hammered a stake. He has never slept on the ground in a bag he had to zip himself into. He went home and posted 18 photos and the caption, "Off the grid." And the comments said, "Goals." The nail. Off the grid with a waitstaff is not off the grid. It is the grid with better lighting. Item 22. Canning and preserving food from a garden scene. A kitchen in rural Tennessee, August 1959. A boy, age 11, is shelling butter beans on the porch with his grandmother. Inside, on the stove, a water bath canner is rattling. He will help fill the jars by the end of the hour. Mechanics. He has learned to snap beans, shuck corn, peel tomatoes, blanched, ice-shocked, slipped from their skins. He has watched his grandmother sterilize ball jars in boiling water.
He has learned to pack the beans, pour the boiling brine to a 1-inch headspace, wipe the rim with a damp cloth, seat the lid, and screw the band finger tight. He has watched her process them for 20 minutes. He has carried them to the cellar with pot holders and labeled them in pencil on the glass. By 12, he can do this alone. Modern contrast. Your son does not know what a ball jar is. He has a fridge. He has Instacart. He has never seen a garden bigger than a tomato pot on a fire escape. He has never shelled a bean. He has never tasted a tomato that was picked at 9 a.m. and canned at 10. He thinks he likes fresh tomatoes because he has bought heirlooms at the farmer's market for $6 a pint. He does not know what a real tomato tastes like, and he cannot make one appear on his plate in February without a corporation doing it for him. The nail. A man who cannot put up food for winter cannot imagine winter. Item 21. Reading a wind for hunting or fishing scene. A plowed field outside Ottumwa, Iowa, November 1960. A boy, age 11, is sitting against a fence post with a Winchester 67 single-shot .22. He is squirrel hunting. The wind is out of the northwest at maybe 8. He has positioned himself downwind of the tree line. Mechanics. A squirrel has a nose better than a dog's at close range. The boy knows the wind direction is more important than the wind speed. He knows if the wind shifts, he has to move. He has seen a squirrel flatten itself on the far side of a branch when it caught his scent. He has missed because of that. He has learned. He also knows, for fishing, that a south wind in spring pushes bait fish into the shallows. A west wind at dawn makes bass sluggish. A north wind in fall means a thermocline drop. He reads the water like a page. Modern contrast. Your son went deer hunting once in 2022. He rented a lease in central Pennsylvania. He sat in a tree stand his outfitter had built. He sprayed himself with scent-eliminating aerosol he bought at Cabela's. He wore a $400 jacket designed to be silent. He saw nothing. He came down at noon because his hip hurt. He told his friends at the office he had gone hunting, and they thought it was cool. He has never read a wind. He has never read anything the land was saying to him. The land was saying nothing to him. He had made sure of it. The nail. Wind cannot be eliminated by spray. Wind can only be respected by a man who has felt it on his face for 3 hours without complaining. The sun is lower now. The hour is later. The boys we are watching were not exceptional. They were ordinary. They were raised by fathers and uncles and older cousins who did not explain what they were teaching, who simply let a younger boy stand close enough to watch, then close enough to try, then close enough to be trusted. The knowledge passed hand to hand.
The hands were rough. The hands were capable. The hands knew things the mouth could not have articulated because the mouth was never needed. The mouth was busy, usually with a sandwich. We have now covered skills of the field and the water. We move next into the workshop, the basement, the small mechanical truths that made a 1955 boy useful to his father by age 10, and a stranger in his own house at 45 if he never learned them. Stop. Continue to part 2 on command.